I'm Ashley May O'Shaughnessy. I'm a fine arts teacher, high school teacher and artist in St. Louis, and I'm going to show you how to make a plate. So I've got some wedged clay. For a large platter, I usually do upwards of 5 pounds. I'm going to do a smaller plate. This is, I don't have a scale, but this might be like between 3 and 4. Woo. Slam it down. You want to make sure that your clay is suctioned onto the bat. And I usually take a finger and just kind of give it a little seal to make sure that it's stuck on there before I start centering. There's a lot of different ways to center, so this may not be what you've seen before, but it works really well for me. Essentially taking one hand and going about 7 o'clock and taking this sort of part right above your wrist at 7 and pushing in toward the center, and then my opposite hand is pushing down on the top right about 4 o'clock using this part of my hand. And then I've had a lot of success resting my elbow right at my hip bone. That gives me some extra leverage behind my side hand. So I've alternated pressure from one hand to the other until I sort of hold them with about the same amount of push and feel the clay eventually snap into center where it's gliding around through my hands without any wobble. If I were doing any other shape like a bowl or a cup, this is where I would plunge down, open, and open it up. But for right now, I'm gonna actually just take this bone right at my wrist and sort of force it down in the center. Put a little water in there to help me not stick. And push toward me. I started out with a pretty high speed, and it's at this point, or even maybe a little before, that I would want to slow down a little bit. As the clay gets more and more saturated with water, the less speed you need, or you want, really. The thing with plates is that you need to compress them. And so having a tool that is flat or even just slightly curved is really useful. And you want to compress them to help avoid crackage. And so at first I just used the short side, but now I'm going to use the whole length of this particular tool. And yeah, I'm flattening and smoothing it out, but really what's going on is that pressure to make the clay stronger. I like to take a tool that has a point to it and just go on the underside, just to give me a place to put my hands for the next step, which is a lot like raising the wall in a bowl, for example, but I'm just going to take it up just a little bit. I'm going to slow down again. I think I sped up there. So I just pulled up a little bit and then out. Come back with a little compression, and then I like this sort of curve here to help the transition between the flat part of the plate and the rim. And the same reason I would compress the floor of the plate, I'm going to compress the rim of it just to make it stronger again. I like to throw my plates relatively thick and then do a lot of trimming after, again for the strength of the plate as it's drying. But if I wanted to put a foot on it now, I could also do that. And then continue to trim on the inside of that foot. And for a little extra flair, I guess, there's always a texture that you can add. Like that. So that's like a salad plate, dessert plate, a plate to enjoy on. Thanks.